Hello everyone, welcome to CelebTvNews. Today we're going to talk about the Devil's Work 90 Days Fiance Natalie and Mike. Complicated relationship before wedding. So if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that whenever I upload, you will be notified. This episode started with Natalie and Mike went into a restaurant. Natalie was complaining about not having a wedding dress yet or not having her ring. And she's still pretty upset that Mike haven't given her ring back. And she said there's only 45 days left till they get married. She doesn't feel like it's right that Mike haven't given her ring back and trying to plan the wedding with her. And Mike seems really uninterested about planning the wedding. Natalie went on and asked Mike, it's been 45 days till the wedding, so how does he feel? And Mike's response was like, I think we need another 45 to 90 days. And you should see the look on Natalie's face when Mike said that. And at this point, anyone can see that Mike is feeling not interested in the marriage or planning a wedding because there's still no connection between him and Natalie. They argue all the time. He felt like planning a wedding, it's the least that he can think of. Natalie is trying so hard to please Mike or not to argue with Mike. I don't blame her because she came from so far to marry a guy for a green card. She just have to put her differences behind her and try to swallow her pride, try to get that green card, instead of fighting with the man, because at the end it's not for love or anything. So Natalie bring up that him and Mike should go to therapy. And Mike was like, no, he doesn't want to spend money on Natalie or therapy because he think that it's a waste of time, because he doesn't think therapy would fix the problem that him and Natalie have. And to tell you the truth, I completely agreed with him. Yes, before marriage you can go to therapy to discuss minor things, but if you have major issue, major differences, don't really love each other, I don't think therapy can fix that. And Mike can see that. And I feel like they are both stubborn in a way. None of them like each other. So they are forcing the relationship. And Natalie feel like there is no way she's gonna give up at this point. She have to marry Mike in order for her to stay in the US so that she doesn't go back to Ukraine to be shamed by her friends or anyone. Usually when Natalie's speaking to Mike, she's in a nasty facial mood way, but this time she was smiling and talking to him, even though Mike was not too nice to her by telling her, I don't want to go to therapy. I don't think it's really working out. But she had a smile in her face. She is trying her hardest to hold this wedding done, at least the legality of the marriage, so that she can get her paper. Can you believe it? Natalie said that since we came from different mentalities, therapists can fix it easily. No, Natalie, therapy cannot fix your thing easily. Therapists are just people that advise. They are not God. Only God can fix things easily. You and Mike have different views from the beginning. If she think that a therapist would fix it that easily, I don't think she know what a therapist is or what a therapist do, because no, therapists cannot fix a relationship that been crazy since the beginning. Therapists cannot fix your relationship because you and Mike doesn't belong together. They have different view on religion, different view on eating, different view on how they live, different view on probably how they bring up children, different view on everything. Therapists cannot make this change for you. You have to be the one that compromise and said, okay, if I'm going to marry this man, I have to accept him for who he is and not to pressure him to be anything that he doesn't want to be. Mike told Natalie, why can't we talk to each other instead of talking to a therapist? Natalie said, because we can't agree on stuff. You think a therapist would make you agree on things that's not going right on your relationship. No, you yourself have to again compromise and said, okay, I'm gonna give up that for him, or hopefully he'll give up that for you. But a therapist can only advise you, and he cannot make you do what you don't want to do. He cannot make Mike do what Mike doesn't want to do, like become a religious person like you want him, or become a vegetarian like you want him. Natalie, you and Mike have to figure that out before you get married, because a therapist would not fix your relationship. Mike said, oh, he's not going to spend a bunch of money to have a simple conversation with Natalie or a therapist. Probably Mike doesn't even have money. If you don't know, therapy costs a lot of money. So here where I am, to go to a session, like 1 hour session in therapy, you have to pay at least $150 to $200 an hour. Not everybody can afford that. Some people, they getting paid minimum wage, like $10 to $15 an hour or even less. So to ask a man to go pay for therapy that costs that much, I don't think it's fair. So if you are getting in a relationship, you and that person cannot get along, don't even bother, because therapy costs a lot of money. Yeah, they could go to therapy. I'm not saying therapy is bad, but at the end, you have to know it's gonna cost money. Nobody's gonna pay for you. You have to pay out of your pocket, especially when it's a relationship marriage therapy. Yes, there's no insurance that's going to cover that. Natalie went on and said, oh, I want my relationship to be easier, and she said she worked hard so that she can have a successful relationship. But I don't think she worked hard at all. Like, if you watch throughout this season, Natalie been nothing but a pain in the butt. I know Mike sometimes disregard her feelings by not being sensitive sometimes, especially when Natalie was complaining about she was cold. Mike was just like, oh, deal with it. I don't know if he did anything to fix it, but from the way he was talking, he seems like he didn't do anything to fix that problem. What I'm saying, only Mike and Natalie can fix their problem. Not a therapist, not anybody. They are the only one that can fix the issue, because they fight a lot. That is the core of the relation. Natalie felt at this point that Mike is scared of getting married to her. I think so too, because remember, he was married before and it didn't work out. Natalie as well has been divorced, but she want that marriage because she's in America. She want paper. She want to be free. She have to make sure that she get married. Whether it lasts, whether it doesn't last, she have to make sure she get married so that she can feel secure in America. After Natalie and Mike restaurant rendezvous, Mike went into a salon where he was telling the lady that was cutting his hair that him and Natalie been fighting constantly. And I do agree with him, because even Natalie said him and Mike relationship is not good at all, and she feel like they need therapy, and Mike is refusing to go to therapy. You have 45 days till your wedding, and you think that therapy will fix it? Forget about it. Natalie, you should marry Mike and take that paper. Don't worry about whether your marriage work out or not, because in the long run it will not work. Even Mike's mother think that the marriage would not work. Natalie said, oh, she think that her and Mike waste their energy on negative stuff. Yes, because both of you are negative people. Both of you are toxic people. So, of course, toxic people only spend their time doing toxic things, thinking about toxic things, or talking about toxic things. Especially you, Natalie. You are very toxic. And Mike is something else. Natalie, she's very tense, very serious about things. Mike want to get loose. He want to have fun. But Natalie is not that type of person. When they sit at home, it's like two old people sitting home, like watching TV. No love, no intimacy, no nothing interesting happening, no cuddling, no touching. I feel like Mike want to be cuddle or want to have fun and love. He even said that. So Natalie, she's like, no, there's more important things to worry about. than, having fun or doing things that are intimate. Let's go back to this salon where Mike went to talk to the lady that was doing his hair. So Mike went on and telling the lady all about their fight they had, like when Natalie gave him back the ring, all sort of things. The lady went on and said that since you guys been fighting all the time, why don't we go on a date? Like, she is basically asking Mike on a date. that was funny. And you should see Mike's face. I feel like Mike probably is not interested in the lady because he said she been cutting his hair for a while. Probably he's not really into her, but they have more chemistry to me than he have with Natalie. Because you can see they were laughing, very smiling, like they agreed on things. She is very into Mike and Mike is not into her. I don't know why. She have more in common with Mike than Natalie do. Probably Mike think Natalie is pretty. That's why he want to stuck with her. Or maybe because Natalie is slimmer. Mike went on and tell the lady he is 100% sure he does not want to marry Natalie. Who says that when you are about to get married in 45 days and you complaining that you 100% sure that you don't want to get married? If you don't want to get married, just tell her and let her go back to Ukraine instead of going along like, oh, okay, marriage, this, that, whatever, keeping her on, and then you don't really want to marry her. I think that he will marry her, but it will not be a loving marriage. Mike said that him and Natalie are two different individuals. Yes, from the beginning, you can see that and anyone can see that. If you think that you guys are two different, why are you marrying her? Why you want to commit to marry her? Why you even give her the K1 visa to begin with? Can't you find a woman in America that you have similar interests with instead of going to another country to find a wife that doesn't even like anything about you? Yes, you're going to have another failed marriage and that will be it. No one's fault but your fault. I don't know if you're doing that for reality TV or because you are broke, but another failed marriage for Mike. Count on that. Natalie and Mike then went to a therapist. I don't know who paid for it. Is it TLC? So the therapist went on and asked Natalie what she want out of the relationship. Natalie said that, oh, I came to America. I'm a city person. And now she's stuck in a small city dealing with Mike. Nothing interesting. She feels stuck. And not only that, they fight every second. She doesn't know what to do because she feels trapped. And Mike said, yes, we have communication problem. We fight all the time. And the therapist was like, oh, it seems like they both have problems because they need solution into fixing it. 45 days therapy before marriage. It's gonna fix your relationship. Good luck with that. Natalie said she left her country. She have to adapt being in America, especially in a small city. Mike is ignoring her emotion and her expectation. You think that he should just pack up and move into a big city just for you like this? This is crazy. Natalie, do you want the green card or you want to live in a marriage that you don't even love the guy? You don't even love Mike. And I don't even think Mike loves you. Mike says he is struggling internally because he is very unhappy. Can you imagine that's coming out of your mouth or anyone's mouth before they get married? Before they get married in a short time. Natalie said Mike is very insensitive toward her feeling, her emotion. Mike just not trying anything at all to make her happy. They are both unhappy. They are both miserable people. Probably they deserve each other. They are both narcissistic, I believe. And this season, you can see like the narcissistic personality come out of a lot of people. Yes, Natalie and Mike are both narcissistic. That's the truth. Natalie think Mike for giving her the K1 visa. Of course, she's happy that she got the K1 visa. Probably she begged for it. And Mike was like, okay, probably when she come over, she might change or things might be different. She got the K1 visa, come here. She's still the same person that we seen of before the 90 days. She's the same erratic person. Her goal was to come to America and she got the K1 visa and now she's in America and she is happy. happy being in America, but not being with Mike because she is miserable. She is in distress. She is feeling depressed, probably have a lot of anxiety living with a man that she have nothing in common with, a man that she doesn't love or care for. But at the end, she have to wait till she is settled, get her paper, move to the city. Without Mike, of course. Mike doesn't feel like Natalie answered the question that he wanted to hear in therapist because Natalie just talked about the K1 visa and thanking him and things like that. But he wanted to hear about the issue they have and how they can fix it. He asked Natalie why did she came to America, and Natalie says, "Oh, because we want to be together." And Mike was like, "Oh, are we still in love? Or are we still want to be together?" And Natalie just look at him. At this point, none of them want to be together, but this wedding will happen because Natalie will make sure of it, because she have to stay in America. She have to make sure that she have that paper, and when she get that paper, she would kiss Mike goodbye and she move on with her life in a big city. That's it. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about Natalie and Mike relationship so far, and whether you think they will last, and whether you think that Natalie will marry Mike, get her green card, and move to a big city. And if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that whenever I upload, you'll be notified. It's a brand new channel. Please support the channel by subscribing and likes and share with your friends. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.